तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा 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 तेरी याद 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 तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा 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 तेरी याद 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 तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा तेरी यादों का तेरी याद में निहा
Bence What is up, everyone? We're going to bring Nick Chahine on in just a minute, but before we do that, let me know in the chat, give me a 1 if you're ready to learn how to be a successful options trader. Just a number 1, that's all I'm asking for. So it sounds like Nick is happy about that. We're getting a lot of 1s. Yeah, you guys can see them in the chat. And guys, stick around. I've got a couple surprises for you during this session. Even Nick doesn't even know about.
Yeah, Nick didn't even know about the session.
So you didn't know about the set? You forgot you had a session?
No, I think I was left off of the email list. Harvey texted me, so I was like, "Oh
my god!" All right, so guys, you're lucking out. You're lucking out. Everyone say thank you, Harvey, for reminding or letting Nick know that we had this thing planned.
I'm excited. I'm totally excited.
Nation, thank you.
I'm pumped.
I'm pumped too. Yes, the 1s are coming in, guys. We've got goodies for you. Keep those 1s coming. And just to preempt the question, if you are watching on Zoom, if you registered for this via Zoom, you will get the recording afterward. YouTube frogs, I'm sorry, guys. Just make sure, I just hope you have a good memory.
Frogs?
Yeah, it's an internet thing.
Oh, okay. You crazy kids.
Yeah, I know. I never know what we're going to do next.
We built the internet. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I was born the year that the internet went live to the public, 89. Shout out Netscape. That was almost my name, but they decided to shorten it and just call me Neil.
Oh, that's good. Netscape. That would have been good, actually.
Yeah, like, God. I would have had so many friends.
All right.
All right, guys. So all of you guys put 1s in the chat. You are in the right mindset. All right. Next week, and by that I mean tomorrow, you're gonna put some of this stuff to the test. So get ready to absorb some knowledge. We'll get started in just a few minutes. Guys, special shout out to Rodrigo. He is in the chat. You should see a message from him. If you have any questions, you can reach out to him. If you have questions about the content, throw them in the chat. But please be kind to your fellow viewers, to your fellow students who want to keep up with the flow of the session. Many of your questions will be answered in due time, so have faith in the process. And I'll tell you what, all the goodies I'm giving away are going straight to the registered Zoom viewers, and for all the YouTube folks, we need to get that like count up. If you get that like count up to 80, we'll start the giveaway. I'll unlock the giveaway train. Mugs, hats, t-shirts, jackets, bags, laptop cases, phone cases. Right now, that's all on Zoom territory. Are you YouTube guys and gals? Are you going to let all that go to our Zoom watchers? Better start smashing that like.
Where's my swag?
Harvey didn't email you about that?
No. Blame it on Harvey.
Yeah,
What broke? The toilet broke? Freaking Harvey.
Damn it, Harvey. Yeah, we gotta get you. We'll get you the official Benzinga tracksuit. That's my favorite one.
Oh, right.
That's got Nick Chahine.
Made fun of me. I was wearing a Never mind. I'll stop right there.
All right, what's up? We got Chris from Norway. This is not a recording. This is live, Andrew. Believe it. Some of you folks are letting us know where you're watching from. I want to thank you from that. Craig from New Jersey. I'm scrolling up through the chat from earlier. Dennis from Colorado. Dennis Collado from Fort Lauderdale. Got it. Gonzalo from Dallas, Texas. This is live. We're real. Yeah, I don't know what's going on over on YouTube, but you guys must be asleep.
They're looking out for me. April is looking out for me. I don't have my mug yet. No, I don't.
If you April, I'm sorry. If you want a mug, hey, I'll tell you what. When I host events online and you guys win stuff, you get them delivered ASAP. All right, excellent service from Nick and Neil. I don't know if you were promised a mug by somebody else, but I'll tell you what. During this session, if you participate, you're gonna be happy you did. All right, I think we can get rolling right now. I'm going to turn down the music here. Nick, for the uninitiated, could you introduce yourself?
Yep, Nick Chahine. I'm not a Wall Street guy. I learned the stuff on my own, and my mission in life is to demystify options and chart reading to show people that they may muck it up with fancy terms, but it's easy enough to understand, and it's simple and it's repetitive, and it's basically to empower you to gain knowledge that you can apply going forward. But eventually, I would love to have you all inside the chat room, because that's where collaboration makes power. Your watch list, my watch list, their watch list, all in one place. We don't make mistakes. If I make a mistake, you catch it. If you make a mistake, I catch it. So that's the ultimate goal. So today, education, introduction, we're going to do it. Oh, I'm an engineer in the past, done finance, entrepreneur, and then this now.
Okay, so good. There you go. There's the short version. And guys, we are getting some questions about the subscription, but don't just save those questions right now. We're going to focus on the education, right? We're going to focus on the content. So just save your questions about the subscription. I know that we're getting a few of those.
So while we're waiting, education wise, tell me your level. Are we talking, what level are we talking about? Just so I can get a gauge of who's watching right now, so I can tailor to that. So Neil, if you want to
rate yourself. Yeah, guys, why don't you rate yourself from 1 to 3? With 3 being I've been doing this for years, and 1 being I'm completely new.
All right, so we have a few 2s and 3s. Ooh, a couple of 3s. 1.3, is that what I saw? 1.5. We have a few 3s, a whole lot of 1s and 2s. So I think we're going to start from the basics and then expand. 2.999. That's a humble person right there, William. He's good. He just doesn't want to claim.
Everyone's calling you Habibi. I mean, we always get a couple Habibis.
Habibi is a if I'm Lebanese, so I speak Arabic. So if somebody's Arabic speaking, they pitch it in, because if you're buddies, it's like buddy.
I want to get a couple Habibis in here. and guys, for the folks that okay, we're getting some
Habibi.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So for the folks that don't believe this is live, hi, this is live. Today is, what is it? June 27. We're rounding the corner here on June. So this is live. I'm Neil. I'm here with Nick. I don't know what kind of proof you want. Thank you, Cindy. All right, Nick, I'll let you go for it.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Do you want to continue the other screen sharing? Yes, sure. Why not? I don't know who I'm kicking out, but you gone. Okay, so hopefully my screen is visible. All right. All right. So, okay. And as far as, options are tricky, but the basics are very logical. They tend to be like they have a mystique about them. So let's try to demystify them. But in order to be successful in options, we have to understand just the basics of risk. And this applies whether you're trading stocks or options or whatever you trade. Somebody's asking, this is TradingView. It's a available free version. You can have different pay levels. I don't, I like it because it just suits me. I don't get paid by them or anything like that. So it's an honest opinion. All right. So here, I'm going to take a scratch pad to start lesson with the definition of risk. And I'm using this as a scratch pad. I'm going to give you a few seconds to think about the answer. You don't need to plop it in. You can, feel free if you want to. But if I ask you, tell me what tell me what the definition of risk is. I know I'm going to get bits and pieces of it, but I don't think I'm going to get the full answer I want. So for me, risk is two pieces. How much willing to lose? I get that all the time. Having an exit strategy, that's good. Those two pieces make up a complete picture. So one person says how much I'm going to lose. That's correct. First is what's at stake. So how much is at risk, right? And potential loss, what's at stake? That is it. So this is not the part I manage. This, I sit down, I talk it out with my family and say, okay, I'm willing to lose $1,000, $5,000, $100, whatever it is. And then I move on. I establish that and I move on. The second part is the odds. What are my chances? So that's the part I manage. So if I take the trade and I think from the get-go, I have a 70% chance of success, I monitor that percent. Hard to say if you're not doing options. Luckily, in options, we have a percent. You can actually have a number to use. So there's no guessing involved, very little guessing. So now we know the strategy for options is one, I decide what I want to use as far as risk. And number two, where I place it has a percentage and I track that percentage. So that brings me to the second piece that's super important in being successful for the long term, regardless of how you actually trade, is if you don't have a reason to be in the trade, if you don't have a trigger on a chart, like in here, whatever this chart, the X-Bank, if this breach is a trigger. So if I'm buying calls or buying shares on a breach of this, I have a trigger, I'm okay. But if I'm here and I'm buying it without a reason, then what's my reason for buying? I don't have a trigger. So somebody might say, well, I have a thesis. Okay, I'm on board. So if I don't have a trigger, I need a thesis. So what is the thesis? The stock is going to go up is not a thesis. The stock is going to go up because they have something coming down the pipe specific that I know about and not many people know about. Now I have an edge. Okay, that's a thesis. So if I'm here and I have a thesis that in 3 months there's going to be a change in blah, 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 that's going to cause the price to go up, perfect. You take the trade and you manage that event. And what are the odds of it coming to fruition? Is it becoming less likely? Like Novavax, okay? Where's the thinking vaccine? So you have to manage those expectations. The trigger here on the chart is when you beat a prior fail point. That's a technical trigger, but that's a different conversation. So if you're not a chartist and you're in a room like mine, then you ask me, hey, what do you think of this stock? And I'll tell you there's a trigger above that level, and you put a note, right? So earlier today, I was talking to another group of people, and another question came up as to how do you come about the opportunities? Well, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of these dotted orange lines, which are alerts. So I spend hours going through charts thankfully, because of people like you. And beyond my usual charts that I track. So I'm going to go back to see if I can remember any of them right now. NVIDIA. Okay, so NVIDIA, if I missed it up here, I'll do homework and I'll say I'll buy it down here. If I'm an AMD, I say I will expect a fade up here or a breakout, or if it comes down to here, I'll try a long. If it comes down to here, I'll try a more conviction long. If it comes down to here, I try a long with a tight stop, and I set these alerts. So do homework, set the alerts, and then sit back and let the emails do the work for you. In other words, if price gets to here, I get alerted, I come and I reset the trade. So everything starts, yes, this is good for beginners. This is what I just said is the basis of everything. whether you trade stocks, options, and however you trade. So somebody's asking, do I do this for everything in the S&P? For me, no. I only want to trade options. So I only look at stocks that have options, liquid options. So I do my homework in TradingView. This is TradingView. I track live in Thinkorswim because it allows me, if you see it down here, I have like 100 windows of these open at all times. And I do, you might see something pop onto my screen. I have a video running in the background compiling. So, and I do my trading in E-Trade, a lot of it. I don't recommend it. It's just good to structure things in. During busy times, it has a hard time performing because they're growing. So they told me that they might have a change coming. We'll see. So homework gets the opportunity set up, but the basics of how I do it is all the same. I need a reason to be long or short. I need a way to monitor my odds of success because that's the part I need to manage. So let's jump into options. So this is an options chain. I'm going to go to something less wild than AMC. How about Apple? How about boring Apple? Okay, and I will expand it to show 20. All right, so this is an Apple. So yes, I do that. And I'll show you in a minute, Z. Hang in there. Stop yelling. No, just kidding. So what we're looking at is a table that's called an options chain. And if you can see, Apple has many contracts. So let's start with that word first. Options are contracts. They have a buyer, they have a seller. Sometimes CNBC forgets that there is a seller on the other end. They always say they are buying, blah, 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 blah. And they forget to say that there's a seller. They're not buying it off the shelf. So I don't know the buyer. I don't know the seller. So I'm not going to take sides. So I'll do my own homework and decide who is likely to be right or wrong. Okay, so back to the fact that they are contracts. This side, they're called puts. This side, they're called calls. People say these are bearish, these are bullish. Not necessarily, depends what you do with it. So I'm going to start the explanation by taking a scenario of a put because it's an easier concept to swallow. Let's say I own 100 shares of Apple and I'm worried about them for the next month. So I can buy insurance on them. So if I want to stop my bleeding at 120, what I can do is I can go out and buy one put at 120 for August. So this is $100 because one put represents 100 shares, and it would be $110 for me. And I can go sleep knowing that if it goes to 90, I'm out at 120. So you say, magic, how does that happen? It's an insurance policy. So who's on the hook from 120? The person that sold it. So they sold it, they collect a credit. I buy it, I pay them said credit. So I'm a buyer, I'm being bearish. They're the seller of the put, they're being bullish. They're saying, hey, you want out of Apple at 120? I'll take it off your hands. That's what they're saying. So it's a win-win situation. I buy insurance, I sleep tight. They're prepaying, they're locking in their entry price here if I give it to them. So it's me, the buyer, I'm in control. I don't have to give it to them. Okay. So they cannot say, hey, you owe me shares. No, I'm the buyer. I'm in control. When they're the seller, they're at my mercy. So they may wake up one day owning shares. They may not. It's up to me, the buyer. See how I'm flipping green? KK, I'm not fast enough to be able to read Arabic on the fly like that. Sorry, if this is for me, you're going to have to switch to English. I mean, I could sit down and read it, but not on the fly.
Hey, really quick, and we're getting, I saw a couple comments asking about the subscription. Just wait on that, guys. We're not going to talk about that. Let's focus on the content right now. Just button in. Thanks, guys.
Okay, so buying and selling a put. The buyer of the put is maybe worried or maybe trying to short the stock because if price falls, that dollar is going to turn into 2, 3, 5, 9, however deep Apple falls, right? So it's somewhat of a bearish position. But if I'm really bearish and I own shares, I would sell them. But instead, I'm buying a put. So I want to stay long. So it's not that bearish. That's why I said puts are not bearish. They're just downside movement. the price of the put moves with the downside movement. So in this case, we explained it that it has 54 days on the clock. So if I buy it, I spend $100 for 54 days worth of protection. The strike price is that one. I could have made it lower and cheaper, less likely to happen. If I just want to cover the crash, I would go cheap. But really, what are the odds of Apple falling below that in 54 days? I'm glad you asked, because I can tell you what the odds are. Why did I say that? Because this column here, the delta, I won't speak Greek here trying to explain it, but if you read the delta definition, it's probably going to say something like the amount of money this moves with the move of $1 of the underlying. Pretty freaking confusing. If you use it like an odds maker, it's simple. It's telling me there's a 6%-ish chance of Apple being here. If I bring it up to here, it's almost a 40% chance. If I put it in the middle, it's like a 15% chance. See how this is the odds maker? Nobody will tell you that in plain simple English. I've been doing this years. That's what it works out to be. You want proof? What's Apple now? 133. This one right here, right? So what's the delta here? 50.5. 50-50. You get a little bit lower, 0.4, 40%. 25%, 15%, 10%. You go higher, different, same thing. The calls, 50 around current price. You go higher, 45, 30, 18, 11. So the odds of Apple being at 155, according to this options change today, it's 7%. So if I buy Apple 155 call, it's only 40 cents. That's cheap, but there's a reason why it's cheap. It's a long shot lottery ticket. If I wanted to buy something more realistic, my sweet spot is somewhere around 30, 28 to 33, the delta. There's a delta column here that you can't see. So the calls have deltas, the puts have deltas. Remember I said odds, what are my odds of success? That is the column that helps you manage your options trade. So yes, you do not need, I'll explain that in a second. So somebody's asking, do I have to own shares in order to buy a put? Absolutely not. When I buy a put, let's say, okay, I'll give you an example. If I expected Nike to fall after this big pop, I can buy a put. And if I'm right and Nike falls, whatever I paid for that put explodes in value. So if I buy this put in this stock and then the stock price falls to where this line where Mark's current price falls through it, this price explodes. Look how much higher it is the higher we go. Okay, so that will happen for as long as price is falling. These values get higher and higher and higher. So I paid $1, and if price falls 10, 15, 20%, then that dollar turns into a lot. Okay, so that is a put. Now you've heard of put spread. Okay, so the put spread would look like this. I buy the put that I just talked about, but I sell the put lower. So I buy one and I sell one, therefore spreading the risk. What do I mean spreading the risk? Well, this one cost $110. If I do this thing, it costs only $70 because I'm buying and spending $1.40, $1.10, and I'm collecting 50 cents-ish. So the net is less spending. So what's the downside of this? Less protection or less downside profit if I'm betting against the stock, because now the maximum this value can be is $10. And see, 110 and 120, the maximum value is $10, and I paid this little for it. Wow, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, I'll check that on Monday. So if somebody spends 50 cents, 70 cents, they can make $9.30 if Apple falls through both legs in the next 54 days. So it's a low chance of that happening, but if the market crashes, I guess it's doable. I mean, I'd be a buyer of Apple down here for sure. Okay. So no, this is debit. When I buy this one, it's clearly more expensive than this one. So the net effect is a debit, limit debit. So if I go to open this, it'll show I am spending debit. So somebody's talking about the other method is this, which would be a credit. I don't do $10 white credits. So in this case, I would be collecting, where are we here? Preview. Credit. So in this case, I'm selling the higher one and I'm buying the lower one, I'm aggressive. That's a bullish position. I need price to stay at or above 120 to win. So that's a credit put spread, also known as bull put spread. This is what we were talking about, a regular debit put spread. Earlier, we started the conversation with just buying one put. Then we turned it into a put spread, right? I don't want to do that. That won't do it. Put spread, or buying it or selling it, right? So that's the put side. So the words you're going to hear, delta. Another word you're going to hear, implied volatility, this one. So let me tell you, everybody's heard about the VIX, right? The fear volatility index. This is like, consider it the VIX of this particular stock. So how nervous are people about Apple? Not a lot. I'll show you, if we go to AMC, it's 10 times more. The implied volatility is 200%. So everything you buy here is 10 times more expensive than it should be. That's why I don't like to buy single legs, like one put or one call. Buying a put spread or buying a call spread makes a difference, because now I'm buying one expensive one and I'm selling one expensive one, so that effect is negated. So buying and selling, then it doesn't matter what the implied volatility is much to my pocket. So I'm not getting robbed. I'm robbing somebody as well. Okay, so back to Apple. Implied volatility is an important line. You'll see that around earnings. You'll see if earnings were next week for Apple, then this implied volatility would be 40, and then the week thereafter would be back to 28. So when you get good at it, then you can game that skew. But for now, it's not that important. You just need to know what to look for with the implied volatility. Did you know that the VIX is priced off of the options prices? So that's why when the VIX is high, all options are high. So I shouldn't be buying calls and puts naked on a big explosion in a VIX day. Like if the VIX explodes 20% on one day, I don't pile in to buying calls or puts. I would do call spreads or put spreads if I have to. But buying a call or a put, then the next day when the VIX goes back to normal or deflates 5 or 10 points, then I lose money just from that, half my money almost. What's the VIX? The VIX is the what Wall Street uses as the fear gauge. This one, volatility index. It's CBOE volatility index. It just shows when the VIX spikes, means the markets are crashing or correcting. Okay, back to the lesson. Right, so implied volatility is open. You got to know if you're overpaying or what. Now, what's the difference between volume and open interest? This one is a tricky one. And everything here exists on both sides. So open interest is, this was Friday. When we opened the morning on Friday, these are all the positions that were in Apple for this month, for the August month. And then this is what happened on Friday. So Monday, when they open, these numbers will change once, and then these will start out with zeros. And then by the end of the day, these will have values, and then these will not change until the morning on Tuesday. Then they reflect whatever happened on Monday. So this is what's going on today during the open session. This is updated overnight, static view. Nobody offers it as a dynamic view. Okay, Joseph, when to trade is a loaded question. We'll try to get to it in a little bit. All right, so I'll tell you when not to trade. So Joseph is asking, how do I know when to trade? Well, I started this lesson by saying what? No trigger, no trade. No thesis, no trade. So if I don't have a reason to take a position, either from the charts or just a fundamental thesis, then I shouldn't be trading it. And if I don't know, then I should get help. So that's all. That's as simple as that. Otherwise, I'm winging it. I told you, you could get lucky, but that's not good. So that's the put side. It's the buyer of the put what happens? The buyer of the put is actually reserving a sell price. So I own, it's insurance. If I buy a put, I own the right to sell Apple at 120. That's it. If I don't own the shares, that's fine. Then what I'm planning on doing is selling the put itself. So if I bought it for $1 and then Apple falls, it turns into $3, then I can sell that put for $3 and then I pocket the difference. If I buy it and Apple rallies, then it turns into 50 cents. Then I sell it for 50 cents and I lost 70 or 80 cents. Okay. Okay. So the opposite side are called calls. All right. So the call side works similar, and there's a buyer and a seller. So let's go with the buyer. Who wants to buy a call? So let's say I want to be an owner of Apple shares, but you know what? I don't want to spend $130 per share. If I want to buy 100 of them, that's a lot of money. So what if I just want to lock in my price just in case I want to rally? I think it's going to pop through the earnings. Somebody's saying that to themselves. So I don't want to commit the $130 times 100 shares. I want to lock in my price. So they pay $400 to buy this call. So now the owner of the call has bought their right, not obligation, to buy shares at 135. So whenever they want, they can pick up the phone and say, Mr. Broker, please execute my trade. So where do they get those shares? They get them from the seller. The seller of the call hopefully owns those shares. Otherwise, they're short Apple. And that's not good to do. I forbid anyone here to sell naked calls. Did you hear me? You are not allowed to sell naked calls, not in my book. So not as long as Reddit things are going on. Call spreads are fine. As a sold bear call spread, that's fine. But selling naked calls is crazy. Selling a covered call is fine. If I own shares or calls and I want to sell calls against them, I'm okay. But selling one like this outright without owning shares, nope, not for me. So buyer of the call, what do they need? They need a rally because they're betting up. So they need a rally. So what happens? Stock rallies. This $4 turns into 6, 10, 14. They have two choices. They can sell the call and make money, or they can call the broker and say, give me the shares. And they're in at 135. Okay. That's up to them. So that's buying a call. Can I buy a call spread? Absolutely. What's it look like? If I buy a call spread, I buy one, but I also sell one. How far up? Anywhere I want. I like to buy $10 wide call spreads. So in this case, instead of spending $400, I'm cutting my expenses by selling one for $120. So now the net effect is under $3. So why do I do that? I spend less. On bad days, I don't lose as fast. Maximum is locked at about $700 for every $270 I spend. So yeah, I limit my upside. But boy, is it a problem to limit to turning $280 into $1,000? That's not a big problem for me. So this is a debit call spread. It's called the debit spread because I'm buying a more expensive one that I'm selling. That's a bullish position. Why? I need a rally to win. I need a rally to win. Okay, so it is a viable bullish trade. Now, if I do it naked like this is called naked, only one leg. If it rallies the stock price, I make money a lot and very quickly, more than a spread. But if it has a bad day, if we wake up and Apple is down 3%, this call is probably down 30%. So overnight, I've lost 1/3, if not 40% of my money. What? That's not my jam. Okay. So I'd rather be spread. I would rather be spread like this. So this way, if I have a bad day on Monday, the absolute damage out of pocket is so much smaller and I'm less likely to get stopped out of a position. I'll be more courageous with it. Okay, so that's a debit call spread. So let's recap. We have two types of options. We have put side, we have call side. They are contracts. So they have time limits. So far, I've been focused on 54 days. So if I go to next week, only 5 days on the clock, things get cheap. Yeah, because there's less time on the clock. So time is important. When I buy options, I'm on the clock. Time is my enemy. When I sell options, time is my friend. I want nothing to happen. Okay, so now we've talked about puts and calls, contracts. So there's a buyer and a and a seller, buyer, seller, and they have a strike price, specific action item. And in this case, I used 120 all night. We'll go with that. So,
Hey, Nick.
yeah.
I just got to interrupt you really quick. We're still getting some questions about the subscription. So I'm just going to answer some questions really quick.
You go ahead.
And then let's get right back into the session.
Yep.
So guys, right now, for Nick Shahine's product, this is Benzinga options. Nick Shahine's trade ideas, his research is really education. The whole idea here, this is the subscription where we want you to eventually unsubscribe because you're a self-sufficient independent trader. But that we are running 50% off today only, completely half off. So that gets the starter. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen really quick. And I want to be fast because we don't have a lot of time to get through all this content, guys. So I want to get right back to it. So sharing my screen, you guys should see the checkout. I can drop the link here in a second if you guys want me to. The 50% off gets you to $48.50 for an entire year. That's the annual subscription. That's it. It's less than $50 per year. Gets you in. Now you can add on to it. There are add-ons where you get more trade ideas. You start off with 2. With all of the research and all that kind of stuff. And then you can add on 4 more per month, or you can add on an additional 3 per week, which gets you up to 18 trade ideas, which is your 100% your full schedule of options trading is in at 18. I'm telling you. And that's all 50% off today. So I'll drop the link in and I'll let you know that let's say the first 10 people to buy, I'll be watching and we'll send you some free stuff from the swag store at Benzinga. All right, swag.benzinga.com. You buy, you let us know what you want. All right, we've got t-shirts, we've got our boot camp apparel, our hats, our mugs, you name it. We've got stuff for Moon or Bust. Benzinga Detroit stuff is really cool. So you name the thing, we'll throw that in. This is just a very special summer sale. So I'm going to drop the link in chat, and then we'll get right back in with the session. So thanks, guys.
All right. So let me see here. Am I still shared?
I think you got to reshare.
Okay, there we go. All right. Out of the money options on expiration, super cheap. Yes. Okay. Yes, I have done that, of course. So anyway, back to the lesson, and I was trying to recap recap the points on puts and calls, what they are, to demystify them. I know they're confusing, but please, they're just the contracts. Handshakes between buyer and seller. I don't know the buyer or the seller. I think they're idiots for doing what they're doing because I'm doing the opposite and vice versa. So it's a challenge. It's a competition. So you better come prepared. How do you get prepared? By doing homework, and you don't wing it. Oh, I feel like I want to buy this because it's moving. No, you have to be on point with charting, and that's hours of homework. Hours of homework. I mean, I can't name it. Give me a ticker. Just give me one ticker. I bet you I have tons of lines on it. Anyway, so the UPST. I spoke about UPST. I don't know what it is, but I spoke about it today. So let me see here. The idea of UPST is it's stuck in a box. So let's use UPST. Stuck in a box. It has a failing point. It has a support point. So if I'm acting right here, I have no actual trigger. So I need a thesis, like, okay, the value dropped from X to Y, and now it is a better value than before, and I was waiting for that to come, therefore I'm going to nibble long. However I do it, buying shares, buying calls, selling put spreads, however I do it. That's a thesis, okay? So JP Morgan, same deal. So here, that's my thesis in JP Morgan. So disclosure, I shorted the banks at the top via Bank of America and Goldman Sachs, and I posted it with the people, and they played out beautifully, really well, especially Goldman Sachs. Well, now I don't have a trade because I need a trigger. I know Monday is going to be an active day for banks because now they're unshackled to do buybacks, billions and billions, like whatever, 100, 200 billion worth of money that has to come off their balance sheet in some way, unshackle it. The Fed said it's okay. I think a lot of it is priced in. So if I'm right, I think it'll fade again, and God help them if they lose this one. I would short when they get to here. If they pop on Monday, I will take a bearish position. Or short it after it loses this. So that's my trade alert, sir, for myself. Okay. Same with Goldman. Same thing. Okay. So that's how you get your trade ideas. And then however you implement them, I'm showing you how I would do it in options. It's the cheapest, fastest, best bang for the buck. There is no doubt about it. It's mathematical fact. If you guess right, which is you're assuming when you invest that you're guessing right, the money goes a lot further in options. Now, it's dangerous when we don't do this part, because then it's easy to buy, and before you know it, your account is gone. What happened? Well, you just bought a ton of stuff. So the point is, this year is an eye-opener, right? So now everybody wants to trade in a group. Guess what? We have a huge group going already. So if whatever is they're offering today, 50% off, that's not BS. I can attest to that. I do nothing of that part. And, Neil and his team are awesome. And we've been doing this since 2012, maybe 2011. I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure 2012. So we're doing something right. And the fact that they offer money back guarantee, they're confident in my content. Now, here's the secret that they don't know. I totally appreciate the fact that you guys are spending money to be in a place. It's not cheap. Once you get to the chat room, it's definitely not cheap. But boy, is it worth it, because I bend over backwards to make sure there's value in there. So ideally, you want to target. I don't know how they're going to walk you into being in the chat room, but listen to Neil, talk to Rodrigo, I think it is, and end up there. So whatever front door they're opening for you today at 50% off, take it, because that's a year-long lesson for dirt cheap. You will not find a cheaper lesson. Every trade setup I share has a video, has a table that looks like this. Each one of these is one trade. It has, let's pick one that is just, okay, Snap. Let's go with Snap. So this was a trade alert, trade setup that I sent out on the 21st. Let's see where that was. 21st, right here. Okay, so yay, it up 9%. So that worked out. But when I shared it, it had a video, probably about 10 to 12 minutes long, sharing the macro view, the specific micro view on Snap, the reason why I'm going long, and how I would get long. And I would describe it in buying calls, this one, buying a call spread, this one, selling a put, only if somebody wants to own shares, this one, selling a put spread if somebody doesn't want to own shares. And I put the costs or collections, I put the odds, and I track it. So this trade yielded almost $6. This one yielded almost $4.30. And if somebody sold these puts and put spreads, they're almost, completely won all the way around. So you get this often enough, it's a lesson. And it's repetitive, and I'm very consistent in the format. So it's a cheap lesson over the year. So don't get hung up over the outlay up front. It's not an idea. The ideal selling point is not a trade alert. It's a trading system, education. And it's a year long. So put a price on that.
Yeah, and Nick, one thing I want to add to that is
is I think a couple folks at Benzinga really say this really well. If you're trading actively, looking to make a profit in the markets, you are running a small business and you are the only employee in that business. And all businesses have business expenses. You have assets like your tools that are used. You have input, you have information that you're gaining access to. I know that at Benzinga, we pay for a lot of information in the form of data and stuff like that. So as you're running your own business, investing in the future is just a necessity. And like all things, you pay for what you get. Like Nick, I think you stated it really well. We've been doing something right for a long time. There's a reason we've been in business and we stand by it. We believe in Nick so much that we are willing to give you 100% of your money back, 100% in the first 2 weeks if you don't like it for whatever reason. If you think Nick uses too many winky emojis, you can give you all your money back. And then we'll talk to him about the winking thing. But other than that, guys, I try to put a full breakdown of how it works. Again, Rodrigo is here if you have questions about that. So again, this is a business that you're running. You've got to invest in it if you're going to see real results.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm not a chartist, but I'm pretty damn good. Okay. And I will put myself against Carter Worth any day of the week. So you put me on there, I'll do a fast fire better and faster than him, guaranteed. So anyway, it is not rocket science. It is repetitive, right? It's totally repetitive. Somebody asked me if I like the 4-hour chart best. No, I don't have a preference. I usually start with a daily and I zoom back and I take my junk out and then well, that sounded wrong. And then I zoom in or out based on what I think. So here's the snap opportunity. I was chasing a breakout from a neckline and it came about. So now I have an inverse head and shoulders being priced out. So ideally, it should target this or more. This is the depth of it that should be up here. So whether it gets there or not, it remains to be seen because it has to follow the market. But so if it drops, I'm not going to panic because it's falling back into the neckline to find more buyers. And as long as that's happening, I can stay long even on dips. So the point is, if you get involved with a group like mine, I'm going to show here. I'm going to pop into the chat room, which is starting to get busy. It's Sunday. It's not open, supposedly. There shouldn't be anybody in there, right? And there's somebody in there. So they're just hanging out. And what happens in the chat room, once you get here, I don't know how far along you need to be able to open the door to get here. I share so many things that they didn't talk about here because they don't know about here. Like every day in the morning, I share my charts, the plan for today. Here's the SPY, here's the S&P, here's the QQQ, here's the IWM, here's the Dow. And then at middle of the day, I share a write-up. And then on Sunday, I bring us into a live webinar for charting like this. Only I share my screen to chart and answer questions. Today, here's the list of today. I ended up being, I think, 68 tickers that I did. And I'm uploading, it's right here. I'm uploading it. So there's a lot of value eventually. Stick with it. Don't be like, oh, I tried it for a week. I hate it. I wasted my money. It's impossible to gauge it that quickly and say that it's not good. I'm telling you, it's a good bargain from an education perspective. And when you end up in the chat room, a group, how strong is the group? You've learned from Reddit. They're beating the crap out of Wall Street because they're trading in collaboration. So I don't know how you end up in the chat room, but you need to be a member first. So they'll talk to you through. Reach out to the Benzinga team. They're in the background.
It's easy. I'll just say it. So you guys have in the chat right now the breakdown of how this whole thing works. It's a membership website. Once you're in, you get access to all the trades and you access the chat room as long as you have access to the chat room. It's very easy. And for every update that you're getting from Nick outside of the chat room, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, you get a text message and you get an email every time he has an update or changes something.
Yeah, and also in the power of the chat room is my watch list for me personally, it would probably be 25 stocks because that's what I specialize in whatever I trade. But my watch list right now is like hundreds tickers I've never heard of before because of the members. They come in and they start discussing. So we find more opportunities. Like I would have never traded Mara before until somebody said, "Hey, what about Mara?" And then suddenly I'm trading and I'm making money off of Mara. It's one of my biggest winners. Like, holy cow. So collaboration brings opportunities. And if I'm trying to make a mistake, somebody will say, "Hey, Nick, you forgot about this, something." Clover. Yeah, Clover. That's another one. So it's important to have friends in trading. Don't be secluded. Even if you can't be in the chat room all day, pop in, ask me a question, leave. You can direct message me. "Hey, I'm stuck in this. What do I do?" Or "I'm thinking to get long this. What do you think?" How easy is it to get a personalized opinion? And there's not one question I don't answer. I have thousands of people asking me questions every day. No joke. This is not an exaggeration. That's how successful the program is. And I've yet to fall short answering one person. I challenge you to find one person that Nick didn't answer my question. So we bend over backwards to provide the value. The support team at Benzinga will do all it can to make sure that nobody's left behind. I don't know the cost. I honestly don't know the cost. All I know is it's not cheap, so I have to bend over backwards to make it valuable.
Yeah, guys, that's enough about the subscription. Let's get back to the educational content.
Okay, so meanwhile, I took my swigs off of my Diet Mountain Dew, and let's go. So we puts and calls. They provide bullish and bearish ways of doing things. What did just Nick say? Yes, you can be selling a put to be bullish. Let me explain to that. Somebody says, "Well, a put is bearish." Not always. I'll tell you my favorite way of trading. Palantir. I use AMD all the time, so I'm going to switch it up. So this is one stock that came to me from the chat room somewhere here. And then I started looking at it. I was like, I issued a trade alert right there. You see that little green thing? And I was like, whoa, I got out way too soon. And then it did this. So then I looked into the company more closely, and I found out that it's legit. And the management team is so passionate. You can feel it. It's like there are a whole bunch of Steve Jobs in there. They speak well, they represent well, they sound like Satya Nadella. They're smart and they're confident. So I liked it. So I started trading it, and then profitably, and then it fell off a cliff. So when it was doing this, I sold puts. So I was bullish. Why? Because I wanted to be long the shares. I sold puts at 18 and I collected a lot. And it went through 18. They didn't give me the shares. I made money off of those puts because it recovered. But I was willing to buy them. So that is a bullish position for me to sell a put. There's somebody else on the other end that said, heck, if it loses 18, that stock is going to the toilet. Well, they were wrong. Okay, so selling a put is aggressively long because I basically am saying, hey, if you're nervous about your shares, I'll buy them at 18. You call me anytime. And guess what? They can give me the shares at 18 and price does not have to be below 18. That's a misconception. It can be anywhere. It could be 25. But why would they do that and hand me profits right away? But that's how it works. So if I don't want to own the shares, I don't sell a naked put. I would sell a put spread to make a bet. Like selling a stock short. Well, you don't. Well, Andrew's asking, can I sell a put before I have a contract? Well, I think you're mixing things. When I sell a put, I just sold a contract. So yes, that's how you get a contract. But in this case, I'm selling the contract to somebody else. I'm being the market maker. Congratulate people and say, welcome to the family. Oh, yeah. So I don't, hopefully you guys are going to take advantage of whatever is being offered today. Earlier, I was talking to Harvey. He said, you might want to take the headphones off because they're offering whatever discounts. Like, to me, I don't care. Benzinga knows what they're doing, so I'll let them drive that bus. So at the end of the day, I'm going to get notified that we've had a few signups, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to welcome all of you already since I can't tell who's joining when, but hop on board. And as far as somebody's asking about the contracts being Like, do I need a contract and then sell a put? When I sell a put, I'm making the market. So you've heard the term market makers. Market makers. When I sell a put, I'm being a market maker. I'm making things happen by selling one put. Now, I don't recommend selling a put outright for the first thing you do. I'm using it to explain to you how a put is not necessarily bearish. If I'm selling it, I'm being bullish. Even if I'm buying it, I could be bullish. Because if I'm buying it for protection, that means I'm not bearish enough to sell my shares. If I'm really bearish, I would sell my shares. I wouldn't worry about the put. Forget the put. Get out of the stock, right? So now puts, calls, spreads. We talked about vertical spreads, buying them. Here's a spread, buying a spread, meaning I buy a put and I sell a put below it. If I reverse that order, I sell a put and I buy a put below it. Now it becomes a bull put spread, a credit put spread. That's also like selling a put naked. It's bullish, except I don't want the whole risk. So I limit my risk by doing the opposite below, right? So I take the risk. Whenever I sell something, I'm creating risk. I'm being a market maker. This limits my risk. So if price goes to 0, I'm covered. You sell before you buy. Andrew, I think you're hung up on something here. I can't understand what it is. Okay, so now time element. This next question is a good transition. So somebody's asking basically, which contract do I choose? All right, so let me tell you a few basics. Depends on the thesis that I have. When I'm selling for a trade, like if I'm selling puts for a trade, I want to avoid earnings because there's a temporary period of time overnight where it's a crapshoot. I don't know what the company is going to say, and it's not about the quality of the earnings, and I'll prove it to you in a second. And I don't know, more importantly, what people are going to react, how people are going to react to what the company says. So let me explain to you something. Tell me if you remember a bad quarter from Apple, Google, Facebook, Amazon lately. Tell me if you can remember one quarter where the news was bad. I can't remember. Okay, so it is. If that's the case, then why isn't every reaction to earnings up? And it's not. This one was down. This one was up. This one was down, this one was up. So there we go. We have 4, it's 50-50. And I guarantee you every report was a home run. So it's not about it, the quality. It's about the expectations. So if I wanted to time something, I have to look at events and time around them. And look at my schedule. So I'm a busy guy during the day. I don't want to mess around with short-term trades. I don't have time to babysit them. I did last week. Twice. Worked out once, the other time it didn't. So I'd rather take longer trades. So I'll give you an example. This one's going to drop. It's going to make you lose your mind. Tesla, beloved stock, right? Super expensive, right? Very volatile, yes. Fundamentally, the company now is different than last year and 2 years ago, but people haven't figured it out. They still try to short it. What? It's like playing tennis with a ping pong racket. So here's how I would trade Tesla. In fact, that's how I did it in the chat room. I believe in this stent, a gentleman by the name of Frank in the chat room said, hey, I'm looking to get long Tesla. I'm looking to buy calls on this dip. And I was like, why? Well, I want to, I forget, take advantage of this dip. And I was like, yeah, but you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You buy a call today, it's going to cost $5,000 and it might be $2,000 tomorrow or $3,000 tomorrow. That's not me. He goes, well, what should I do? I was like, you don't have to do anything, but if you force me to trade Tesla today on a bad day like today, look at what I would do. At the time, I went to September or October, and I went to 500, maybe even lower, 400. Yeah, 400. And I told him I would sell a $400 put. Would you like to own Tesla at 400? Hell yeah, he says. I'm like, okay. So if I sold a $400 put, I collect $900 per contract today. provided I can buy the shares. If I can't, I would do a put spread. I would sell a put spread. But what happened is the next day, Tesla stabilized, and that $10 they collected turned into six-ish. So they buy it back for $6. They made $4 out of thin air. And more importantly, they had so much room for error. So somebody that tried to trade it overnight with current shorter time frames had to sweat it if they got it right. Okay, so I prefer out in time, big distance, manage the expectations, time to react, because it suits my personality and it suits my schedule. So short-term trades are viable for the right person. So find what you like and make it work. And most importantly, the concept is the same. You need a reason, specifically on the chart or in thesis, in the fundamentals. Or if you know a bit of news that nobody else knows. It seems to be that the SEC is okay with that these days. So, but the fundamentals of how to trade it is the same way. I don't buy puts and calls willy-nilly. You can make a lot of money, but you're taking a big chance. So buying a call in Tesla costs an arm and a leg. I'll give you an idea. So this is a contract that have 5 days on the clock. If I want to buy this call, it's $2,000, one call. If Tesla drops 3% in that day, I lose half of it, just like that. So it's important to be on purpose. Yeah, know why you're doing something. If I'm not sure, at least spread it. So it's 2,000 versus 120. So I'll take the 120. So if I buy this one, it's $230 for one contract, not 10. $230. And what can I make out of it? I can basically double my money. So what's wrong with doubling my money by spending $2 versus $19? And in this one, if we get a drop, the pain out of pocket is a lot lower. So it's not devastating. You still need a reason. I mean, why am I expecting it to go up? If I don't have a reason, then I'm just flipping a coin. And that's not how you win long term. You will have wins. If you're super lucky, you'll have a lot of wins. But odds are odds. You can't beat the odds. They are there. They're fact. Okay. Can you call options on crypto? Can you option call crypto?
No.
I haven't looked on options on crypto futures. So they have options on S&P futures. I haven't looked on crypto futures. You could trade Mara options, which trade crypto pretty closely. So you can find stocks that mirror crypto. Like Bitcoin has a couple of stocks that are like in sync. So do spread. Oh, good question, Abraham. So, okay, let's finish the timing thing. Somebody mentioned the word leap in options. You hear it thrown around. So to me, a leap is just a really long-term contract. So you can see out. I can do a March 2022 contract. Okay, so that's a leap. It has 264 days on the clock. I don't think there's a definition. Is it a calendar year? Is it just the next calendar year? So is January still a leap or not? It's just a long-term, 200 days. So this one is a real leap up to 2023. So it's a fancy term saying that's a commitment for the super long term. Okay. How do I find stocks can be traded as options? Almost all stocks have options. And in fact, if you want to trade options, avoid the ones that don't have weekly. Like if you get into a stock and it doesn't show weekly things, only monthlies, and it doesn't show a lot of action, avoid it. That means it's not liquid enough for you to play with the options. Coinbase mirrors Bitcoin. Yes, but Coinbase has an extra added risk of it being too young. So we'll see. Okay. Let's see here. Somebody said something. Oh, margin. Okay. So you've heard the word margin mentioned in your stock career. Margin on stocks means that you borrow against you borrow to buy stocks. Margin term in options is different. There's no borrowing involved. When I buy something in it's all or sell something, a spread, a call, a put, a call, whatever, it's a margin, it's a cash secured. So I'll use the SPX because it's the clearest way to explain it. So the SPX is the index on the S&P. We all know it. So if I sell a spread, let's put it this way, if I sell a contract and I collect I want $5 wide. Okay. Anyway, come on, give me a quote. Oh my gosh, what a day. Okay, so if the spread is $5 wide, let's pick this one. This platform, somebody's asking me if it's good. It's okay. This is E-Trade. That's what's not good about it. Sometimes it just goes nuts. I'm trying to find a $1 wide spread. Should be somewhere here. Okay, 90 cents, close enough. There we go. Okay, so here we go. If I sell this credit put spread, doesn't matter what it is, it's $5 wide, right? 4235, 4230. I'm selling this one that opens risk. I'm buying this one that limits the risk. I'm collecting a net dollar credit. So that's a bullish position. I need price to be, it's 4280 now. I need it to be at or above 4235 through middle of July. And then I win. So now the margin is $4 because the maximum I can lose is $5, but I collected $1 up front. So I can only actually lose net loss $4. So if I have a $10,000 account and I open this trade with one contract, then the broker will lock up $400. That's the margin requirement for that trade. I didn't borrow anything. There's no interest. It's just locking up part of my cash to account for the complete loss. Okay, so that is the word margin, the term margin. There's no borrowing or anything like that. Somebody's asking me, what do I feel about leaps? They're great for the right strategy. Perfect question there. So I'll give an example, real life example, which I shared, Rocket. So I shared it as a long trade. I said, I don't understand this weakness. The company's financials are freaking phenomenal. So I'm going to get long with conviction, which means I sold puts and put spreads to buy calls. And that made me twice as long as normal. So what I did is I went out to December and I bought calls at 20.89. I don't know why there's a split contract there. I don't remember them splitting the shares or what. Something happened. But anyway, if I go there, Rocket, you'll see that it has a wonky contract for December. So this call is mine. I own this call. It's currently $2.8. It was as high as 4 or 5 at one point. You say, Nick, why didn't you lock it in? I did, but let me show you how. Okay, first of all, to get long, I not only bought this one and I paid 1.75, I believe. Let's round 1.8. So I'm still up $1. So $1 on 1.8, that's a huge percentage win, right? In addition, I sold puts for September at 15, these two. And I took those off. I booked them. I bought them back because when I sold them, they were super expensive and now they're not. And I bought them back for pennies. So that trade is gone. So that base cost is lower already. I'm going to ignore that, but it's already lower. So I didn't pay 1.8, I paid less. Okay. In addition, I sold covered calls every week against my long. So if I'm long here, I'm allowed to sell calls up here for no additional risk every week. So I don't sell them in December. Every week I sell them and they die. So I forget, the last one was at 25. I sold it. It died in one day. I closed it and I sold it lower. It died. And I keep repeating. So now my entry cost for this call is like 60 cents. I'm estimating. I'd have to download the explanation, the table in order to get an exact quote. But I'm very confident that my cost basis into this current $2.80 is like 70 cents. So I'm still up a lot. I locked profits by selling shorter term risk that died in my favor. So even though I didn't sell this at the top, I cashed in some. Okay. So that is a strategy that I do, which is where I bought a leap, basically a really long-term December, and I've been putting it to work all along. I did not buy stock outright at all. When I buy a call, I don't need to own stock. I bought the call in lieu of stock. That's it. My maximum expense, my maximum risk is the price I pay for the call. When I sold the covered call, it's against no, not against the stocks. If I own a call, it's as good as owning stock, and I can sell a call against my long call. So I know what you're asking now. So I think they're confused by when I say covered call. If I own shares of Rocket, I can sell covered calls. What does that mean? Okay, let's go there. So stop with the questions a little bit. So let's explain that. It's an important concept. So if I own 100 shares of Rocket and I want to put them to work, and let's say my price basis is wherever here, if I'm okay selling them at 25, if I own 100 shares, what I can do is I can sell something called a covered call. I can sell a call, this one. For example, I can sell this one, I can sell this one, whichever. I'll do my homework and I decide that, okay, I'm okay selling the stock at 25. And if I sell this call, I collect money today. So what happens? What's the risk? No risk, except that I may be asked to sell my shares at 25 in the next 82 days. So one day, the buyer of the call can say, give me your shares, and I don't have a choice. I wake up, I don't have shares. I keep my 90 cents. So what happens? I bought it here, I sold it here, and I got an extra 90 cents. So I really rode Rocket from wherever I bought it into 26. That's called a covered call, okay? Selling a call against shares I own. Because when I sell a call, I'm committing to tell somebody out there, the buyer, that, hey, if you want shares at 25, I got 100, you can have them. So I got to live up to that, right? If I don't have them, then I'm lying and then I'm short Rocket at 25, which I don't want to do, right? Okay, so that's a covered call. I can do the same without owning shares. How? Because I own this call, I own it. And if I own it, then it's as good as having the shares at 21 because I own the right to call in the favor and bring me the shares at 21. So as long as that's open, I can sell covered calls against it shorter term as if I own shares. So owning a call out in time allows me to sell covered calls like owning shares allows me to sell covered calls. It doesn't matter what happens to the call itself. If I'm okay selling the shares, I don't care what happens to the call. The call value expands, and I get people saying, "Oh my God, I'm in trouble. My sold call is in deep red." And it's like, how is it in red? You said you would sell the shares up there. Then just live up to it, and you would lose nothing. You just sell your shares for more profit and keep the premium. So don't sell a call covered. Yeah, poor man's call. Yeah, don't sell a covered call on shares you're not willing to sell, because then, okay, you're going to get in trouble and you shouldn't be doing it. This is called the poor man's covered call strategy. Yes. I'm not too hung up on the name calling because it's really ridiculous. It's just a covered call. New infrastructure buyer. Oh, don't get me started. We're not going to talk politics here. The infrastructure spending deal is not a secret. So if you know something that other people don't, then you can game it. Otherwise, it's in the price already. So somebody's asked me to talk about X. Let's talk about X. So support at 2250, resistance into 26. I think that it will be at 18 before 30. Bingo. I'm writing an article about bingo as we speak. Here are the lines. Right here, there's nothing to do in bingo. There's resistance above and support below. So this is what I call buy the rip or buy the dip. So if bingo falls to here, I would buy the dip for it to come back And if it breaks out of here, I would buy the rip for it to get to 12, whichever happens first. Right here, I could get long, but I don't have a specific trigger. That's fine. But it should have buyers. It will go by the way of markets, but there's no trigger. I heard Baba. Well, if you're not long already, you missed it. We went long Baba earlier. Can you share my thoughts on space? I'm not sure what thoughts you want. It's in the stratosphere right now. I would not chase it. How do I decide on the strike price? Depends what I'm doing. Trader novice. Depends what I'm doing. Earlier I said is if I wanted to sell something, I want a low delta, 0.15 or lower. If I want to buy something, I want a 0.28 to 0.33 delta or better. I want better odds. In other words, I want edge. I'll give you an example. On Friday, somebody in the chat room asked me, hey, Nick, I'm looking to sell a put on Tesla at 670. I was like, well, it's like $1 off of here. Where's your advantage? What's your thought? I don't have one. Well, you need one. So that would not be what I would do. You have chart classes. Monroy, M. I don't know which one is your first name. Anyway, every video I share is a chart class. If you watch all my videos over the weeks, you will pick up on what look at my charts. I have no indicators, right? I have one thing on the left side, which is volume profile. I have no Ichimoku. Everything I have is hand drawn with blood, sweat, and tears of homework. You access the videos by becoming a member. I have basic videos on the landing page in Benzinga options, and every trade that goes out has a 10 to 12 minute video with it, if not 15. So
hey Nick, and we're still getting some questions about the chat room, and folks want to see if they can go straight to the chat room. I'm working on an additional discount on that. So just sit tight, guys. I'm gonna come back in and update you guys, and we are gonna get you directly into that chat room so you can get that 50% off a lot easier.
Tim, that's a good statement right there. Thanks for offering this great deal, y'all. As an education piece, Teledoc, you're reading my mind, Matthew. As an education piece, it is it's a bargain. I know for a fact because I know what I provide from the terms of lesson. Don't think of it as a trade alert service. Think of it as how to use a fishing pole versus getting the fish. So somebody mentioned Teledoc. Boggles my mind that it fell to here and didn't find anything. Good look at that. Good P&L, good prospect, good business concept. They have a lot of opportunity. The only problem with it is right now is it just had a good rally. Second problem is going into a prior problem area. Look at this line. I said, if it loses this, it's going lower. Look at where it went. This is before the fact. It went to and below my level, and now it's come back to the accident scene. Often enough, it faces resistance there. There's a carrot to fill the gap, but this is the volume profile. So this is a busy area, so it's congested. The easy work is done. Well, Natalia's asking if it's better to buy a Delta 50. Of course, because then you're like right at the money. But I remember I said the sweet spot is like 33-ish for me. It means it has a little less zing if you get it wrong and a little more oomph if you get it right. So yeah, 50 Delta is good, meaning at current price. If I'm buying a call or buying a put, I want to buy that call or put right here, right now. I like a little bit out, above or below, to get a little bit of discount and a little bit of oomph. Theta. Okay, so Natalia is asking again about theta. Fancy term. Anybody know what theta is? Sounds like time. Okay, so I don't mess around. Yeah, time, baby. So theta is your enemy if you're buying anything. So if you take an options class, you hear most options expire worthless. So why on earth you want to buy any? You just want to be a seller most times, but you can't get there until you get comfortable with the concept. So luckily, that's what I concentrate on. How can I sell? What can I sell? Where can I sell it to give somebody a losing lottery ticket? That's my goal in life. Sell losing lottery tickets. How much delta difference do I look for? Okay, so on spreads, whether I'm buying or selling, I'm only considering the leg that's closest to current price. So if I sell a put spread, the leg I sell, a credit put spread, the leg I sell is closer to current price. That is the delta I'm talking about. That's where the risk lies. So I consider that delta. I don't care about the difference in delta between the two. I don't sell $10 wide spreads on stocks. I'll tell you why. It's a wonky explanation, but when it comes close to time, theta, when theta is an issue, then the leg that's $10 away is like a medic that's stuck in the tent that can't get to the frontline soldiers that are under fire. Complete. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch on to time decay. So theta is an enemy. So when I buy it, so here, if I bought an option for next week, I only have 5 days to be right. If I sold an option for next week, I can't wait for those 5 days to go through. You get it? Because tick tock is money in my pocket. The other people are like, come on, move, whichever, puts or calls. If I'm the seller, I'm like, come on, ring the bell already. Ring the freaking bell already. That's the kind of thing. I buy $10 wides. Yeah, that's my preference. I don't sell $10 wides. So Alex is asking if I buy a $10 wide spread. Yes. In fact, that's like my sweet spot. And then DM, I've seen it twice. Thank you for your persistence. Okay, so that's a good lesson right there. So I don't know much about the company, but look, I've got lines. This line says support, and if lost, it's going to go down here. They did lose it. They didn't go all the way there. That's fine. I understand why it stopped there. Now it looks like it triggered long off of this line right here. However, I did draw this line here for a reason. Look at this fail, and look how pivotal it was of a cluster before. So there's going to be a fight going into this. So if I'm not long already, I would want it to break out from this one. So 9.4 or more. XL. So you're the one that made me go down the road of X first, Z. No, just kidding. Okay, so XL, same concept. It has a prior failure. So break above that failure, you get yourself a cup and handle that could come to 14 with a huge, huge problem around 11. If I'm long, I can sit long in it. BB, no, ma'am. No. I mean, what are we trading here? Come on. Technically, it should have support, but this is just a pure gamble stock. So you better be trading it with 5-minute candles and in and out, because that's how it trades. I don't recommend any trades on BB unless it's in a chat room, like a breakout of sorts. And even then, it's like a 5-minute trade. So you better be a trader and know what you're doing. You don't need my permission to trade BB. How about that?
Hey, Nick, really quick. In response to a lot of the requests for folks that want to go straight into the Inner Circle chat room, I've got permission from the boss man to give you direct access to the chat room. I'm going to drop a link. And what we're going to do is the first 30 people to grab the deal. This is right now, today only. The first 30 people to get the deal, we're going to send you a laptop from Best Buy of 30.
What?
Yeah, I know. Of $350 value or less. So it's going to, the guarantee there is that it will have 8 gigabits of RAM, so that or gigabytes of RAM, so that you are able to run all of the systems that you need to trade along with Nick. So I'm dropping that link in right now, and we are monitoring the payments. So as they come in, we'll give you the countdown in chat of how many laptops we have left. That's all. Thank you, guys.
Hand raised. Don't stop my laptop. Okay. My laptop is kind of crappy. No, I'm just kidding. I use a Surface. It's very small. So somebody's asking Caterpillar. So this is the perfect example where I'm like stuck in limbo, right? I didn't like it here. In fact, I discussed it short. I don't remember if I issued a short trade or not, but here it's a better entry point because they just had a rally. Oh, I remember what it was. They just had a rally. They gave up half of it. Now, the tricky part is it has a lot of resistance up here and a must hold level down here. So if I'm long, I should watch out and stop out below here because I don't know what's below here. Okay, so I want to go back to a week long Caterpillar. So I'm not a harmonics kind of guy, but I was messing around and I drew this losange thing and price was here. I was like, I wonder if it's going all the way to there. And guess what? It went to there and more. I didn't trade it, but it was a nice discussion. So here's a visual to show you something that if I'm not long, it's almost too late. Let it do something. Let it do something to get me to trade it. Like if it gives back 50% of this rally, that's the 50% Fibonacci retracement. Give it a little extra, say 180. So for me, I would get really long Caterpillar around 180 or long. I would get really long around 150. I know it's a miles away, but hey, if you missed it, you missed it. It's totally okay. All right, so that's Caterpillar. And MDM, we already did. Facebook, it's too high. If you're not long, you missed it. But it's a great company. Buy the dip. Look at it. Okay, so somebody asked earlier, I hope they saw me answer it. Blue, red is just a visual representation of the regression line. It's not an actionable item. It doesn't say, oh, short it when it touches this. It just tells you, hey, if you're not long, wait for it to revert to the mean. That's what it means, reverting to the mean. You overshoot, everything reverts to the mean eventually. Patience, grasshopper. Workhorse, really? Okay, we'll do workhorse. CCIV, I'm not so sure. I got shellacked in social media. So workhorse. So this is a company that I believe they do make trucks right now, funny looking trucks. Do they have a P&L? I'm pretty sure they do. Maybe not. I thought they were already active. So here are my comments. Okay, so look at these bubbles, very pivotal, and then suddenly they can't get to them. So this box, base, lost it, and now they're back in it. Prove to me you deserve to use it as a base. Me talking to the bulls, meaning two things about it. If I believe in the company long term, you shouldn't listen to Nick. You should just buy it and forget about it. Technically, I would not touch it unless it breaks above this one. In fact, I would short it going into this one with a tight stop by selling a call spread, not short outright. So that would be my trade on it. Buy the dip into here if you want to trade it. Short, get out below 7 because it's then, I won't say it. But so this is better be the base. Somebody mentioned CCIV. Same comments. Now I want you to pay attention to these two companies have no income, right? Zero. So the whole price of the stock is made up of hope of future success. Maybe they come out with a car, maybe they don't. Maybe they come out with a truck, maybe they don't. Besides, CCIV, that's Lucid, right? They're targeting the 1%ers. Their cheapest car is as expensive as the most expensive Tesla, starting point. So that's a niche market. So it's not a mass market yet. It's not like FSR that's looking to get into a mass market. Hyliion, Workhorse, this one, they're niche markets. Just keep that in mind. Tesla we already discussed. Roku, Herman Miller. I don't know the ticker for Herman Miller. I just bought a chair today. Definitely not Herman Miller. Some gamer chair for $120. So Roku, if you're not long already, you missed it. The easy work is done. That doesn't mean it can stop here. It's just the easy work is done. So when I say usually my eyeballs are my best asset, okay, so look left. Look left on Roku. What happened here last time? So onus is on the bulls to take that out with conviction. But, it's a big range. So we'll see. Wait for the dip. I'll buy it back on the dip. This is the first place I want to look at it. See how we do homework? And here I'll say fade it. So if I'm long, if it hits there, my alert will come faded. I'll pop into the chat room. Say, hey, if you're long Roku, you might want to lock your profits.
I just want to pop in and say that we've got 11 laptops left. People's just started going crazy on it. So everyone,
you mean 10? You mean 10?
We'll send you something. We'll send you a Palm Pilot, Nick. So guys, just so you know that the link is in chat, so you get half. It's actually more than half off. The inner circle chat with Nick, and we're down to about 11 laptops left. If you get in now today with that discount, we are giving a laptop that has 16 gigabits of RAM, so you can run everything you need to trade along with Nick. So just popping in to say that we're running out. All right, thanks guys.
Okay, so somebody keeps asking, please, on SBCE. I don't know what you want from me on SBCE. Buy now? Heck no, not with my money. I missed it. I was long in 12s down here. No way I'm gonna give it any money over there. If you force my hand, I'll buy a put spread in it. That's my SBCE deal. I don't want to short it. Neo. Well, if you were in the chat room already, you'd be long Neo. No. I did trade Neo here somewhere. Anyway, so Neo somewhere. Let's talk about Neo. Let's pull up the drawings. All right. So resistance zone, it's trying to snap out of it. Neo is I have 3 EV companies that I trade like real companies, Tesla, Neo, and XPeng, because they actually have P&Ls. I don't have an issue with EV cars companies. I just have an issue with EV companies where the entire stock price is made up of hope. These actually have production. In fact, if you pull up the P&L, then you can have a thesis with that. Say, you know what? Let's go income statement, revenues, 7. Look, you can see it. From 750 to 3 billion. They operate with the government's help in the biggest market on the planet. You can't mess that up. So dips into 42 and 40 and 39 are buyable short term. Dips into anywhere below here is buyable definitely, which we've done. And breakouts from last week's, is this last week? Whenever that was, June 18th. A breakout from June 18th is chaseable, knowing that there are several resistance areas. So up here, it's thin air. It has a lot of resistance levels, but it will follow the market. I wouldn't short it just to be short. And the range is super tight. It went with a higher lows against the roof or lower highs. Any which way you slice it, there's a lot of energy. It's either going to bust out or revert lower. Significant level from here, that's a candle I pointed out a long time ago, and it makes for a good place to get long big time. So I want to start looking at it when it comes to here. So, okay, so that was Neo. Gold, I took a flyer on a long GLD, GDX. I said GLD and GDX were looking good for an entry point. It was good, and then it was not good. There was a dollar spike, and that puts pressure on the gold. I am long the dollar, so I was comfortable getting long gold as well. It's a trade on the GLD. We'll see what happens. I don't like banks. I will short them if they pop. AMC, I would short it by buying a put spread long term because the fundamentals are absolute garbage. So eventually it will come to roost. SoFi, I would buy the dips. It's a good business. Did it dip for some reason? Oh, yeah. Okay, so I will revisit it on Monday. This base should find support. If I'm long SoFi, I'm not panicking now. BB, we already talked about earlier. CTX, KO. What? Here, my comments are on the chart. I don't understand the rally in KO. I mean, I charted it. I just don't understand it. Look at what I charted and look how it played out. I mean, what? Like exactly how it went. But I have no words. So technically, if you lose 53.70, you could revert to the 52.50 buying point. So this said tough spot in the past. So I will update it to say was tough and now support on the way down. So if it falls to here, that would be the buying opportunity to swing it back up. Quality company, 3% dividends, own the shares, don't play the options. So be careful with Monday on banks. They have a big day. Everybody's expecting the moon. They better deliver it. I like SPX trading options for the simple reason, Todd. I just published a video in the Resource Center for Benzinga, which is what's the difference between the video is about AM settled or cash settled. So that's what I like about the SPX. It is cash settled. So people say, oh, assignments and early assignments and all of that. The SPX is cash settled. RUT, NDX, they're cash settled. So there's no early assignment. The bell rings, and they look at the scoreboard, they look at your sold legs, and they do the math, and it settles. There's no assignments or anything. So beautiful. Yeah, I do like it. SPX. I use Fibonacci, but not as a trading alert. It's another layer of information for me. AMC,
hey, Nick, just letting you know, the YouTube folks are they've got their pitchforks out. So they've got a couple questions. And just letting you know, I'm going to interrupt you. I mean that with love.
I forget.
April, I see you in chat. So we're going to have some questions specifically for the YouTube crowd. But guys, remember, we always send out emails so you guys can pre-register for these to make it a lot easier. But yeah, guys, get me your questions now. And I'll get them over to Nick so we can get them answered. So I mean, we're getting asked about like BlackBerry. Are you guys just asking about tickers? If you guys just want tickers, I'll throw them in the chat on the Zoom side. I thought you had specific questions. Did you have a take on space? Did you already cover that, Nick?
Yeah, I already covered that. Space. If I'm not long, I missed it. It has to go without me from here.
Oh, okay. And then we're getting one from Scarlin. The alerts on the pre-market newsletter are high conviction plays. That's an additional thing that comes from the news desk at benzinga.com. So that is completely separate from Nick's products. So that's an add-on. Are they high conviction plays? No, those are the tickers that the news desk is watching for the day because they believe they're going to have significant catalysts that are going to cause movements in the market. So that's basically, these are the tickers that everyone on Wall Street basically or in the markets is watching for the day. So that's what that add-on is. It's a one-time payment of $47. Never have to pay it again. Okay. So and then go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, I got a really specific one from April, our resident troublemaker. So space, ticker SPCE. If you bought call options, should you sell Monday or does it have more upside? Well, April, that's like direct trade advice. We don't typically do that.
I'll tell you what I usually say to myself. Anytime I'm wondering about booking profits, I book them. If not all, most. Because often enough, my instincts are right. So, when to get out of trades is a personal preference. I am okay seeing a stock rally without me. I've had many misses like that. Some people is like the end of the world. So you decide which part you are and act accordingly.
Any more laptops left? I actually haven't checked, but assuming we're getting low.
Okay. So somebody wants
we have three laptops left. I'll drop the link again.
Somebody wants me to explain these blue lines. That's the best question of the day. Thank you for that. Okay. So everybody knows volume. I'm going to use Tesla for that because it's a good picture for that. So this is Tesla. I'll take out all the junk. Daily chart. No indicators. Every line you see is done by hand except for this orange one. That orange line comes from this study called Volume Profile. I don't believe TradingView offers it free. It's probably $15 a month for that. I'm not sure. But Thinkorswim offers it for free. It's called something else. So it's a volume profile. And here's what it tells you. Down here, the bars that say when the trades happened. So right here, they tell me, ooh, there was a lot of trades on December 18th. Whatever happened on December 18th was very, look at this. That's a lot of trade. How can I use this information? I can't. So how can I use this information better? Is if somebody tells me at what price these happened. So now I have that information. So these mountains you see, it's trades. So look how busy it was around 416. So that should be floor. So if you ever see Tesla falling into 440 to 416, don't sell it. Don't buy puts. That would be not what I would do because chances are it's going to find support in this zone. It's going to be like support, like a mattress. Meanwhile, there's another hump up here. So now it's stuck in a high trafficked area. If they fall out of it, they go into a chasm. It's going to go straight to this one and then find support. So I don't get long when it loses this. I start trying to catch the falling knife until it gets here. I can get long into this assuming it holds, but I stop out if it doesn't because I know it's going to go. I don't chase longs into here because of these, but I would chase them above here because then it breaks out into thin air. This is a very good study. You've heard price is truth. That is price is truth right there. And as far as blue and yellow, it's a downtick, uptick, but the volume is the whole thing. I got you there, Todd. TOS calls it two different ways. They have one. The one I use is a TPO profile. And it would look like this. If you bear with me, I'll bring you one in one of my windows that are open. This is a higher resolution monitor, so it's going to look a little big. It's these green lines, TPO profile. You need to do a couple of changes on it to make it look like this. But look, for this ticker, this is bonds, the future contract on bonds. You can see a high interest here and a high interest here and nothing in between. That's why this goes fast and then settles here. So where is price now? It's down here. So when it approaches this, that's the place to not get long because it's approaching a busy place. It's going to do this. This is a 5-minute chart. Same concept applies to any time frame. So Thinkorswim is what I use to track the action live. I do all of my strategy in TradingView because it's web-based and you can put notes and you have an editor. I'll show you what you can do with the editor. So usually you see me pop in here and say financials. So I'm like, I'm tired of doing this. Can I put it on my screen? It turns out I can. So I stole somebody's code and I'm trying to hack it up into showing stuff like this. So I don't have to go there. So I just flip that on and then flip it off when I'm done. And it's called PineScript. Like Thinkorswim has ThinkScript. Oh, CTX. Okay, I've seen that come up a few times. CTX. What is that? Citrix. Oh, yee. All right, so that's daily. Okay, see, right. So this is lesson in time frames. This is a daily chart, about a year's worth of data. It looks like a solid bottom, right? Boom, bounce, bounce, rally, bounce, bounce. To say, I'm comfortable, there's a bottom. Well, I'm not comfortable because I don't know what lies beneath. That makes a good movie. Weekly, now I know what's beneath. So now I am comfortable that if it loses this trigger, even though technically it should go to 80 from this, it's got a lot of support here. Why? Price is truth. Look at this big mountain on the left of volume. So this whole zone is supportive. So if I'm long already and I didn't get out, I'm not going to panic out. I may do something short term to protect myself, but technically it's very risky, but I think there will be buyers. In fact, I want to get long if it does fall apart. And this one get longer too. So I do this all day, every day from the question. I've never looked at the stock, or at least I haven't recently. So I just put 2 alerts. So if this happens, then I'll get the alert in my message. I'll write it up and share it. In fact, I'm going to put an alert here and say, uh-oh, kind of like if somebody's long Citrix, pay attention. If it comes to here, I'll say
hold on, I just want to pop in. We have another Anna. This is live. This is 100% live. But thank you.
You want to hear you take a drink since it's live or not live?
Yeah. Drink some of that Diet Mountain Dew.
Do you have?
I heard it.
I'm not joking. It's right there.
I love it. And hey guys, I just got off the phone with the big man over at Benzinga. We're gonna unlock 10 more laptops. All right, so don't make me lose my job over this. 10 more laptops. I'm gonna drop the link in chat. And that's only if you unlock the inner circle or purchase the inner circle for 50% off. It's under 1,800 right now, today only. All right, thanks.
So somebody's asking me if I share the table. I don't share the whole table. What I do share is usually this snapshot like this for that particular trade. So in Snap, for example, on 621, you would have had the video, you would have had the write-up. Usually the write-up has a macro. Here's the macro, what the world looks like, because this doesn't trade in a vacuum. Here's the micro. And but as to what Snap looks like fundamentally. And here's why I'm taking it. And here's the stop out points. And here's the table. And here's what I prefer. So the table will have something for the buyers of calls, something for the buyers or call spreads, something for the sellers of puts, only if they can own shares, something for the sellers of credit put spread. And I'll put all the metrics. And so I would have all the information I need to pick my trade out of it. It's very simple, very repetitive. Believe it or not, KK is asking, what's my best trade? My biggest winner is GoPro because last year it was my bet for the year. And then, GME happened and took GoPro with it twice, 3 times. So GoPro has been a pretty good one. And actually Doge, the easiest, fastest win was when okay, we're talking Bitcoin. No, we're not. I'm talking Bitcoin. So, all right. So disclosure, somewhere back here, look it up. I did a video on Bitcoin. I think it was October here. I did a long time ago. I did a blurb on Bitcoin saying it could go to 12, 16, 18, and even all-time high. Never did I think it would go to 60, right? But it did. So now I'm saying, I said 2 weeks ago, watch for 30. If it loses 30, it could go back to 12, maybe 9. So, but I said there'll be rest at 28.8. So the bottom was exactly 28.8 last week or whenever on that dip. So I bought coins on the dip, and that was my fastest 30% win. It was like minutes in Doge. I didn't sell it because I don't know the tax implications. It's a new account. I don't know much about Kiran. They trade in the same basket. So if you track Bitcoin, I think you make the right decision on everything else. Matt, you're relentless, dude. You should get together with the Benzinga team on Sidebar. They'll help you out, whatever you're trying to do. Hey, Andreas, I appreciate it. I really do. But as soon as you can, I know it's not always feasible. Move up tiers. They'll make it worth your while. Trust me. The basic plan, you're going to find yourself a little bit frustrated. Hey, it's not frequent enough, but good news, you can always migrate up. And it's still, the basic plan is basically free. And given what I put into it, to my, what? Anyway, but the upper tier is where really the benefit is, because it's much more frequent, and I feel like it's almost a daily interaction thing.
Yeah. So for the folks that are going for just the tiered discount, so it's like the 1, 2, 3. So that all that stuff is like lower than the chat. I highly recommend at least getting 2 so you can get more frequent trades, so you can see if you like it before you commit. The whole idea is if you don't like it, then we give you your money back, no problem, within the first 14 days. So you got to get that tier 2 so you can get the more frequent trades. But all said and done, I think you should get all 3 at 50% off. That we're only doing that today.
Okay, so somebody's asking about Clover. I like the company. I think it's legit. I don't think it's fake. I think the fact that it's a Polyhapatia company is making it worse because it's a SPAC of sorts, but it has a book of business and signing up states. So I would buy the dips, but not up here. So I think I was long somewhere along the ways. I'm not sure I was long up here, but I would get long again. So how do I get long? Personally, if I wanted to buy shares at $8, I would sell $8 puts. now or on bad days, so maybe on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if it falls into 10 and I want to buy it at 10 instead of buying at 10, did you hear that part? Instead of buying at 10, I would sell a lower put. Why? Because that gives me a buffer zone. It's no different. The risk is less because, first of all, I'm getting paid to buy shares at a lower price. But I shouldn't do it if I cannot honor my commitment of buying said shares at the price I sell. So if I'm wanting to buy shares on a bad day, I would rather sell a put lower. Good starting point to trade with. Ooh, that's up to you. Size of account is not my issue. I can do what I'm doing with $100 account or a $10,000 account or $1 million account. It's the bigger the account, the easier to work. But the strategy, the homework, the diligence, the system is all the same. Torch, somebody mentioned it. I don't know much about it. It sounds like a GME thing. Yeah. You got an island here. Just draw a box around that candle here and fade it into the top, buy it into the bottom, or chase the breach of either sides of it. You get that? I'm edit. What is edit? I'm curious.
We're down to 7 laptops left, guys.
Okay. It's a tough call to go long into 44 and 48, but a breakout above 48 tells me that they have oomph to go. So the breakout may have already happened at 39. So what do you call that? Trail your profits. I don't know what AR is. TTD, I'll go down to TTD. Somebody asked, boy, TTD, that's a, oof. Okay, into 80, not an entry point. Look. But doesn't mean it's not worth it up here. It just says that the easy work is done. It can go without me. It can go more. Ideally, if it dips and comes back, it should find buyers here if it dips and it comes back. And if it takes that out, so at least, okay, so if I'm thinking of going long TTD, I don't want to give anybody advice here. I would wait at least until they breach out of this one. That's where they failed last week, twice. That's where it failed March once. You can arguably say they failed in April and March again. So they're headed into a tough zone. Let them come back, gather momentum, better buyers, better hands, and go boof. And then you get the new highs. I don't know what you're saying. Oh, yeah, KK. Ryan, I don't know. I wouldn't go down that road. So there's a conversation going there. KK is stirring some trouble there. So the concept is the same. If somebody has a system, then they know when to pull the trigger. Then they know when to stop out. But okay, let's talk stops. How do you stop? So somebody says, I get this question all the time. Hey, Nick, I'm in trouble with this. I did this. What do you think? Not to tell you what to do, but my first question would be, why did you take the trade? And it's not an insult. Literally, I want to know why. Because if that why is not there, whether it's gone or it wasn't there to begin with, then I should not be in the trade. So first, I need a reason to be in the trade. That's how I know when to get out. Second, I need to know when to get out either way. So I should have an upside target, whether in dollar or levels. What does that mean? So if I take the trade here and then I say, I want to make 200%, and if I made 200%, I should be out. Or I want to reach 75, and if I hit 75, I should be out. Versus, I want to be long here, and if I lose 20% of my money, I should be out. And that 20% is different person to person. I should stick to that 20%. Or say, you know what? If it loses this level, I don't want to find out if they're going to this level. And if they lose this level, I don't want to find out if they're going to that level. So these are two stop outs based on levels. So stop out could be based on dollar amounts, up or down. Stop out based on levels, up or down. You just saw me say fade it on whatever chart we were doing. That's a stop out for somebody who's winning. How are we doing on time?
You are way over time, sir.
Oh, okay. So that means the wife is really upset behind me.
Yeah. So you are good to go to sign off, and then what I'll do is stick around. I'm gonna bring Rodrigo on, our customer success director, to answer some questions about the subscription, because I feel like there's some loose ends that we can tie up here. And plus we kind of did stuff last minute. Thanks guys for bearing with us. It's been fun, honestly. But Nick, if you have any closing remarks, I'd say now's the time.
I appreciate the opportunity. This probably was the most fun session in a long time. It was very animated, and I love it. It was impromptu for me, and that makes it even better. So stay really. If you get anything out of this conversation, have a purpose in the trades. Don't will like somebody said, would you go long CLSK? Technically, it's a better long than a short down here, but I would have to do homework on it, its environment. Technically, it looks like a better long. And how to get long doesn't really matter if you use options or not. That concept should be the same. But if I do go long, I need to stop myself out at certain levels. Like below this, I don't want to know what's below that. Above here, I know to add because that's an accelerator. It's going to fade into it, fail maybe, and then if it breaches, then repeat the process here. So you need technical skills. If you don't have them, join a group that does, or have somebody's ears that could help you. Hint, hint. That's my point. So it's a learning process for me, for you, and it's relatively inexpensive to get in, so do it. And that's it. Mic drop.
All right. Thanks, Nick. Have a great rest of your weekend and say hi to the family for me.
Okay, so I can just bail out of here. I won't kill the whole thing.
Nope, you won't kill anything. You're good to go,
All right.
my friend.
I appreciate the ear, everyone. Thank you.
All right, guys, and I will stick around to answer your questions. And I'm going to bring on Rodrigo, who's our customer success director. So Rodrigo, if you're in the chat right now on Zoom, can you shoot me a message? That way I can just like right click you and turn you into a panelist. Actually, I think I can do that right now. Promote the panelist. Okay, you're a panelist now, Rodrigo. You should be able to, you should see a notification. Okay, cool. Rodrigo's here. Rodrigo, you are muted, just FYI.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. How's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. This has been a crazy session. We're just giving away a ton of laptops.
I know.
All right, guys. So what questions do you have about the subscription? After we got the go ahead to do 10 more laptops, you guys started slowing down a little bit. So we have 5 more of those laptops to go. That's if you get the half off Inner Circle chat room subscription. I'll drop that link in again now, so you have that. But now's the time to ask any questions that you might have about that part of the whole thing. Please, for next week's seminars, can it be timed around the maybe. I don't know if Nick watches soccer. Okay, I love this question. Every time we get this question, I ask everyone, hey guys, if you see someone ask this question, can you just answer it for me so we don't have to answer it over and over? The question is, will we get the recording? Yes. If you're here for the if you register for the Zoom session, you get the recording. Yeah, just wait, watch your email inbox and you'll get it. Clarence Lee, I bought the inner chat room. How do I get the laptop? Just wait, and we will follow up with you. You don't have to do anything else. We have a ledger of all the purchases that have been made associated with your email address, and that's how we'll get in contact with you and hook you up. Chris says, okay, now I'm quitting my job. Hope this works. I hope it works for you. I hope it works for you. What I will say is that people are very, very happy with Nick's chat. It's fantastic. I trade Nick's trades all the time as a Benzinga customer. Actually, Rodrigo, what you use Nick's trades, and so you're basically a user. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, so in my particular experience, just to give a recap on, so I was trading options before I was even aware that these services existed. And once I joined Benzinga, I was able to use Nick's services. So to me, that was a big step up in the trading because a lot of times option traders were stuck in this exploration phase where we don't know how options work. So we take losses and we don't, how long can you go before the market really wipes you out? I was in public forums. I didn't have a strategy, no feedback. So I felt like I was trading in a vacuum. So once I started trading with Nick's trades, I was listening to his fundamental strategy, what he's looking for, the way he trades. To me, it had a huge impact. So I've seen different traders, new traders become experienced, even equity firms that use our services. They love Nick because of the way he trades. He doesn't go all in for the home run. He's likes the safe income because he wants to take care of the subscribers. So my experience with it has been great. The chat room to me was the best part because you have real time access to Nick. So many times you're stuck in a bad trade, you don't know how to get out. Other times you're in a good trade, you don't know when to sell. Sometimes you're looking at an opportunity and you don't know how to take full advantage of that. So Nick does bring in that experience, those 10, 15 years of veteran options trading experience to you so that you don't have to make the mistakes that I did when I started and I blew up my account trading options because I didn't have a mentor. So having a mentor is really what I wish everybody would have when they start. It's not always the case, but you don't know what you don't know. So the chat has opened my eyes. That's the least I could say for sure, Neil.
Yep. And then so a couple very specific questions. One is so you guys should see in chat, like the way this is structured is if you don't want to participate in the chat room or the inner circle chat room, and you just want to have like text message or email trade ideas sent to you, and then you get access to the membership site so you can see the step-by-step how to make the trade and just get the trades. That's good for beginners who are trying to learn how Nick is thinking. It's also good for people that a lot of folks are just like, give me the trade setup. That's it. I don't want to do any research. Just give it to me. And that's totally fine. So that's why these services exist. That's why we worked with Nick to make it match the needs of both of those types of people. That's where you get the starter, enhanced, and ultimate trade ideas. So you are getting very specific trade ideas there with a specific like we try to make it like stupidly easy step by step. This is how you construct the trade. Those trades are not covered in the chat room. The chat room is a completely separate thing. The chat room is every single day. Here's what we're doing. So that is if you're going to be active, I recommend getting into this chat room. So this is for the person that's saying, okay, I'm ready to try this trading thing out. I'm not exactly sure about my strategy. And if the strategy impression that you just got from Nick matches with something that you think it might work for you, this is your first step into doing that. This is your investment into becoming more active, specifically using options for trading. And then frankly, like I steal Nick's ideas all the time. Rodrigo, I don't know if you know this, but Nick he's just like a natural chartist. He's a person that he's been looking at a technical analysis for so long that when he looks at it, he can right away just say like, yeah or no. And I steal his tricks all the time and use them in my own technical analysis. So, the chat room is where you're going to get that. You're going to, I mean, for lack of a better phrase, steal Nick's tricks and that knack that he has and ideally start looking at charts the same way he does. So whether you're buying options or just buying common stock, it still applies. It was great. Love Nick is the man. How do you get the free shirt and Benzinga cup? Whitney. Whitney will not leave us alone. So Whitney, so if you're on YouTube right now, I said that if we got to, I think it was 80 likes, I will drop a link in the first 30 or it was 10 people. So we were 30 for laptops. First 10 people to use the link, we're getting $50 worth of free stuff from the swag store. Scroll up in the YouTube chat to get that, but I'm pretty sure it's all gone. There's no way it's not all gone. So there's that. The laptops are down to 2 left. So we have slowed down, which is understandable. But congrats. I mean, I can't tell from your emails, but like Mason, iCat, Maleko, or maybe Mal CEO. I can't really tell from your emails that what your name is, but congratulations, welcome to the family. You're going to be very happy that you joined this chat. So I got some specific questions. All right, so these are, I have inner circle. To what extent does it cover or not cover these picks? So that's what I just outlined. If you have the chat that's unique to the chat, you're going to get access to Nick's more active trading. Let me go down to the newer stuff. Rodrigo's in there answering questions. Yeah. So Rodrigo, what are some common questions that you get where you're kind of creating different bundles for folks, like on the phone or maybe over email? Just trying to give folks an idea of how they can contact you, like right now, today, and get some sort of different deal.
Absolutely. So there are some people that are a little bit more active trading, Neil, and they do like to, do their research. They want to have fast news, breaking news, market moving news, and they like to act on it. So if they are that kind of trader where they really are, a little bit more active on that side, we could, work something out with them. I guess that would be on a case by case basis. They can reach me though, and I'll be more than happy to work something out for them. Maybe with the newsletters, we can, look into the Benzinga Pro. We do have unusual options activity there as well that we can look into. It all depends on your style and what you're trying to do, but more importantly, I do want to point out that this is a Benzinga community. We're all here to learn and earn. Unfortunately, I was in a lot of public chat rooms and I thought I discovered, sliced bread. And then suddenly you find out a lot of those public forums are pump and dump chats. You have bots, not even real people talking in those chat rooms. So with us, it's obviously a fully verified chat room. We're all on the same boat. We're all trying to make money. Nick Shahine's the captain. He's leading the boat and we're all making money with him. So it's all a community and we're all working together towards that goal. So don't worry if you're a little bit new or you're more experienced. At the end of the day, we're all working towards the same goal here. Well
said. And then, so I dropped the link again in Zoom. I guess I'll drop it on YouTube again too. Is it the question from John L, the Inner Circle chat room, is it a one-time or an annual fee? That's an annual fee, but right now it's 50% off. Normally it's $3,600. That's the sticker price for the chat room, and that's worth it. That is for 365 days of access to a serious trading group that's guided by a guy that's been trading for, I don't know how many years. It's at least 20. Serious option trading with an over 90% success rate on everything that he's put out to this group so far. It's underpriced already. So that's half off, and that half off, that 1,800 will continue each year. So you get a 50% off for all of your renewals for as long as you or the product exists. How long is the link good for? This is just today, just now. This is one of the few times where I was like, I called my boss and had to actually like go to bat a little bit to get the clearance, and that the laptop thing was just a little Benzinga touch there. So this is just right now. This is way too crazy for us to do. Let's not forget, Nick does a webinar every Sunday for the chat members only for a couple hours where they go over several picks from the previous week. They prepare for the next week. They do educational content. Plus, you're getting about 4 or 5 trades a day, bullish or bearish, regardless what the sentiment is, because the goal is to make money here. So Nick is actively searching the markets for you, actively sending charts. If you ask him a question about a ticker symbol, he's going to send you a chart with fundamental analysis, technical analysis. He might even send you a full video where you can always even talk to him on the webinar as well that we do Sunday with him, only for chat members. Yeah, that's a really good point. So the chat is, yes, you are going to get that element of getting trades kind of served to you, which is really nice with the tier 1, 2, and 3. But it's also you are active here. So if you have a ticker that you're looking at and you want to share your chart or share what you think about it, this is where you're going to work with Nick and get that mentorship element from him. So there's a lot more of a two-way. I mean, of course, there's a chat room. There's a lot more of a two-way access relationship there. And then, so I got a couple here that I got to answer that are specific. Nick says, I just purchased the chat, but it says I was charged 6,145. I'm looking at all of the payments right now, and I do not see any payments even close to that. So I don't think that happened. You probably got a message in error. So you should not see that on your bank account because we didn't get that. But if you have any problems, of course, Rodrigo is your man on the inside here to help you out with everything. So this is another thing you're going to get with this chat room that you're not going to get with other ones, is you're getting constant support. We have a fully staffed support team, whether it's the trade ideas or just technology issues or payment issues or anything like that. We as a brand, Benzinga, it is absolutely fundamental to our brand that the human touch must always be present in our service. So this is like, if you find another product that has better customer service than this chat room or any other thing that you have at Benzinga, I'm serious, I will give you that product that you're subscribed to for free. Which I'm probably going to end up eating my words on that. So let's not put that in writing because it's pretty hard to verify. But there are a couple specific things. So if I join today, are we going to see Nick again today? Nick will probably pop into the chat. Yeah, he's obviously most active during the week. But yeah, he was popping in during the presentation. Is the inner circle chat room okay for options beginners who need some hand holding to get going? Yep, it's designed for you and advanced people that just want a community. Do you offer advice on setting up data providers? What do those cost? I'm not sure what you mean, Robert. If you could give some specific examples, we can answer that. Oh, and thank you. So shout out to Electronic Radio. Benzinga does have great customer service. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm glad that you've been able to experience that, and thanks for the shout out on that. Let's see. I bought the starter edition, enhanced edition, but the enhanced edition gave me only 30% discount, not the 50 I'm supposed to get. Can you clarify, please? Thanks. VJ, not really sure what happened there, but again, newsletters@benzinga.com. Email newsletters@benzinga.com. All of your support issues will be handled. I think that we put the system under a little bit of stress today, Rodrigo, with the number of people that came through. I know a couple of people were saying that it was like loading for an extra long time when they were trying to purchase. But yeah,
I mean, typically these, 3,600, and that's the normal price. When look at this really as a business, because it is revenue generating, you need to invest in a business to have sales, right? It doesn't just fall off the skies. So with Nick's education there, the trades are there for the taking.
Yep. Is Swahili? Oh, Benzinga is Swahili for customer service, allegedly. Interesting. I did not know that. Not going to check, though. I'll just take your word for it. Do you have a month-to-month option with free cancellation? Pure Bliss. No, we don't do month-to-month. We only do annual subscriptions. And why is that? Because we've done that in the past. We've done month-to-month with pretty much Benzinga has a pretty wide suite of products. We've done month to month with certain things in the past, and what happens is we get a bunch of window shoppers that are not ready to commit to actually using the service. They'll buy it, and then it turns into a huge overload for us, where we're not able to give everyone support, because we get a ton of people that just buy a monthly and then cancel immediately. And then two, it's just bad business for us on the accounting side. It just doesn't work out. So ideally, we're doing the annual thing as a way to make sure we're getting only committed people that are actually going to use it. And that's just better for everyone. Cancellation policy on chat room access. If you don't like it within the first 14 days, you may reach out to us for a full refund. Gary just signed up. Welcome to the family. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Oh yeah. Do you guys have a charts platform? So you can talk to Rodrigo about adding Benzinga Pro to what you have. Rodrigo can definitely work out a package for you, but we have Benzinga Pro, which has trading view charts embedded in it. So it's all of our charts are powered by trading view, and they come with Benzinga Pro, which Nick uses. So there's Rodrigo just dropped his email in there. So if you're looking to add more on and add some tech, some trading tools in addition, highly recommend Benzinga Pro. It does have a free trial as well, but if you want like a sweet deal, because it like, of course, if you're going to get Benzinga Pro in addition to like the options inner circle or anything else with Nick, Rodrigo's going to work out a special discount for you. Neil, how do I get Nick to be nicer to me when I ask dumb questions in the chat? April, I'm trying to figure that out myself. I take every compliment that I can get from Nick, but what I can say is that your questions haven't been dumb. But you're on the YouTube side, so Nick doesn't actually see that. So I have to ask those for you guys, and it's hard for me to keep up during these sessions. But April, I do appreciate your participation. If you have any additional questions, I'm happy to help insofar as I can right now. Also, where is Mark today? April, stay tuned and you will hear more from Mark. April was a very vocal guest at our recent day of education, the Benzinga Boot Camp. So everyone say hi. Hi, April. Thanks for being here. Where do you get the mailing address to send the laptop to the new Inner Circle subscribers? Asks David. So we've done this in the past where we've given gifts with purchases, and basically we have all of your contact information on our payment portal. So you'll get an email from us to confirm everything that we need. Like, so like for example, if you made a purchase from a billing address that isn't actually your shipping address, don't worry. We're going to contact you before we ship anything out. The last thing that we want is for a laptop to end up in the middle of nowhere and for no one to get it. Can we bring back Nick later on today? His family might not be cool with that idea. Yep, and Rodrigo is answering. Okay, so guys, any more subscription questions? I'm gonna sit here with Rodrigo for about 1 more minute. Is the Benzinga options mentorship different than the options inner circle chat room? Rodrigo, can you answer that one?
What was the question on that one?
The difference between the Benzinga Pro options mentorship and the pure options inner circle chat.
So just the options inner circle chat, that one would be just the chat. We have it in the premium ideas portal. So that would be for traders that do not really require full-time access to market data. Like for example, using Benzinga Pro, if you really only want the chat room to be able to talk to Nick and you like things a little bit more simple, we do have that. That's one side. If you do the options mentorship, you would receive Benzinga Pro, which is our breaking news terminal. It's pretty much the competition to Bloomberg. So from that point, you would be able to have the chat inside. So which is, I think that would be probably the best road to go. And if that's really what you're looking for, you can email me as well and we can make some updates to the account. Because obviously that would help your trading if that's really where you are in your trading right now. So that would be the main difference. If you do want to add some newsletters, if you think you're missing out on some of that, don't worry. You can call me and I'll work a deal for you.
Yep. And Rodrigo, now everybody's asking, can you drop your info in there again?
Yes. So you can reach me at my direct number. That's 313-960-4061. And you can also contact me at my email, which I'm dropping there, rodrigocerda@benzinga.com. So I'll be staying up today a little bit later just so I can make sure that all you guys can get that 50% off, because if you do call me tomorrow, it might not be 50% off, and that's why I'll be here all day. So let's get this done, guys.
Rodrigo is going to drop his number in there in text. You can get it. But also he's probably going to be overloaded. Like,
no, it's fine.
I know you always say that, but I always feel bad for you when we have these big sales, because everyone just comes down on like a tidal wave on Rodrigo. But I mean, Rodrigo is going to take care of you. There's no person I would want on the other side as a consumer in any business other than Rodrigo or someone very like identical to him. So we love having Rodrigo here. You can consider Rodrigo a feature that comes with your subscription.
It's included in the price. And I used to trade options. So I'm a trader just like you guys. I'm on the same boat here. I'm very vocal about improving the product because ultimately you guys are traders And I know where we're all coming from here. We want fast data. We want things to work, to be user friendly. So feedback that you have, we welcome it, because the better our product is, the better we're going to be together as a community. So I'm on the same boat with you guys.
Yep. And frankly, I am too. Like, I'm not an advanced trader by any means. So like I've said it before, every time we do sessions with Nick, whether it's something like this or something like our boot camp days of education, I am always taking something away from Nick that changes my outlook. I always something I will go back and, like, I do a lot of charting. I'll go back and change something about my chart settings based on what Nick does. The dude, he's just a rock star.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, you can't know what you don't know. And that's really when the community kicks in. It's just so much better to have, 50 eyes, 20, 50 minds thinking of the same trade, instead of just trading in a vacuum, which is what most traders try to do and fail, because it's just a vacuum. You're talking to yourself, instead of talking to people that, on top of, they might look at other parts of the news that you missed, but also they might have a little bit more experience in certain parts of the option trade where, the mentorship comes in play. You learn from Nick and from the other members.
Yep. And that's, I think you've talked about this, Rodrigo, where that's something you wish you had from the start. Me too, buddy. Trading with a group is the way to go. Do not do it alone. There's no reason to do it alone. So we've got so Fujinami, Gary, congratulations, guys. Welcome in to the family. We're gonna have a great time. I absolutely guarantee it. Things are looking up in terms of growth stocks. There's just a lot of volatility that's creating great opportunities for Nick's style of trading right now. So this week ahead is going to be really good. So I'm really excited for you guys to be joining the chat room. All right, guys. I think that this is where we end it. Rodrigo, I'm sure that you're going to be a busy man today. Guys, as always, if you want to get more direct access during these webinar sessions, make sure you register ahead of time. We're going to leave that link up so that you can get the Inner Circle chat room if you're still interested after the session ends. Any other further questions, you can reach out to Rodrigo. His information is right there in chat. And Rodrigo, the reason I'm copying it again is because yours are going to panelists only for some reason. So I'm doing panelists and attendees.
Oh, okay. No wonder.
Yeah, it's Zoom. All right, Whitney says help a brother out. Whitney, I have only so much help to give. I'm sorry, Whitney. I don't know what you want. All right, guys. Peace and love. Have a great weekend. We have a great trading week ahead. And for everyone that made the commitment today, we will see you in the Inner Circle chat room. See ya.